Here is some of the major mistakes that I made with my first NFT purchase. So if you're newer, watch this video because it's going to teach you some things about my mindset and what I would have changed looking back on that now, and so that you don't make the same mistakes that I made. I was going back looking at my different trades to see what projects to talk about in the different mistakes that I made, and I stumbled upon this. This is actually my first NFT that I bought, and it wasn't Breakfast World like I did in a future video. So we're gonna dive into my thought process, what happened, and the mistakes that I made so you don't make them in the future. So like the video if you like NFTs, but warning, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Trading NFTs, investing in NFTs is highly risky, and you can risk losing all of your money. So here's the BoringStone Genesis collection. When I initially got into this NFT, the mint price was 0.05 Ethereum, which roughly at that time was about $175, at the ETH price about 3,500. Today, when you look at the floor price of 0.017, today's floor value, that's about $47. So this is a loss of $128. And even though this doesn't sound like a lot, this project dipped to as low as 0.006. And I just thought of putting this inside my hidden folder and never looking at it again because I thought this project would never recover. But the biggest thing to learn from this is what I didn't do well heading into this project. Research. I didn't do any research. I had no idea how to research NFT projects. What I did, how I found this project initially was I was on Twitter looking at one of the crypto altcoin influencers that I follow, has made great calls with altcoins, but they're not in NFTs at all. I had no idea what I was doing. I only trusted that influencer because it was that influencer, but I didn't do any research like I do now. Even just initial research looking at secondary volume, if it's gonna sell out. I did nothing of that, and also checking socials. That's one of my biggest mistakes, is trusting influencers and trusting other people to make the calls for you without looking at the actual price action and the numbers that are in front of you before getting into a project, and not even looking into other things that might influence the project. The basic Twitter post was that the founder of this project, Alan Goren, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but we'll just say Alan. Alan is an early adopter and has found projects like Bored Ape Yacht Club early. So because I knew a Bored Ape Yacht Club, celebrities are placing it as their PFP, their profile picture, I assumed that the cachet, the status, was shortcutted onto him as well, right? Just assuming that he knew the whole community, he was connected, that because he owned an ape, that other people within the community would support him and get into the project automatically. But as I've been in the community more, there's 10,000 of them. There's going to be a lot of people who own apes, own popular PFP projects, who are part of popular communities that are not connected to them, that aren't supported by those communities. And just because they're supported by that community doesn't even mean that it'll do well. I was doing some other basic research. I saw that he created content on a weekly basis, which is basically a podcast, webinar, virtual meetup where they would come together and talk about blockchain, they talk about crypto, talk about NFTs. They call this blockchain and booze. And then I just basically went through their Twitter. I didn't really do much research, and I didn't even understand what I was looking for at the time. I just saw that there was people engaged, people came on, and that there was panel discussions, and that he was connected in the community. So here's blockchain and booze every Tuesday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. PST. And then you can see all the different guests. It's a lot of guests, and it's a lot of notable people. When you actually go to their Twitter page, what do we see? We see that they only have 172 followers. That is already a red flag. To be able to sell out a 10,000 collection, 10,000 NFT collection, are you going to be able to sell it out by consistently putting out content to only 172 followers? That being said, I went to the founders page and saw that he had 17.7 followers. Okay, I've seen projects do well with 17.7. So he has a great background. He is a founding partner of a venture capital studio, and I didn't do more research on the work and the team that he was going to be putting into this NFT project to grow BoringStone as a project. Because being inside the space now, there's so many projects that are approaching this like a startup. They're building a global brand. They're building a team. They're going into this full time, and they're accumulating resources. They're devoting their full-time hours. They're hiring people to be able to manage that. Compare that to other projects where they're not doing that, where it's a side project, where they're not putting in as much effort as these other projects. And just because these people are putting in full-time effort doesn't mean that they're going to succeed as well, but they have a higher chance to do so. If the NFT project that you're getting into doesn't have a strong community or doesn't have full-time leadership, doesn't have the resources, the network, and the time to devote into this project, it has less of a chance to succeed than these other projects that are doing that. Not to say that they're not doing this, but that's just something I didn't do research on initially. And managing a venture capital studio is a lot of work. It's obviously not gonna get as much attention as being a blockchain venture studio. And not to say that this isn't going to be a good project in the future and that'll take time to build, but coming into and being inside the NFT space, NFTs and the opportunities inside NFTs, it moves so fast that holding it for that long, you're gonna miss out on a lot of opportunities to be able to get into great projects, hold great projects, or just flip projects to be able to create a better bankroll so you can become a better trader. But in the beginning, you're going to be flipping projects until you get your bankroll so that you have enough ETH to trade more and learn more. The other thing I didn't do research on too is the vision of the team. Where do they want to take this? Do they want to make this into a global brand, like one of the #1 brands? Does it fit a niche that's missing inside the market? Is there a strong community? Those are all metrics that I didn't understand at the time, and that when I go into a project now, I need to see that that's there, or at least that sales are there, that there's demand there, that the demand over exceeds the supply, and that this is going to sell out. Last, I came into NFTs in the very beginning as an investor looking to find the next Bored Ape Yacht Club. And after being in this space since October 2021, one of the things that I learned is, like most businesses, 99% of these NFT projects will fail due to the team not being able to deliver, due to not having the resources, not having the time, not having the capital, not connecting with the audience, marketing to the wrong audience, not having strong community. For a variety of reasons, projects are going to fail. And so I approach things now as all these projects are going to fail, and I want to get in and out of these projects as long as there's higher demand than the supply, and that I know that this is going to sell out and it looks like I can make a profit. If a project pleasantly surprises me, then I will consider holding for at least the medium term, but I only had that liberty once I had enough ETH to keep trading on the side to be able to hold these NFTs. In the very beginning, I didn't have that much ETH. I had probably under 2 ETH to trade, and usually you would want to have at least 2 to 4 ETH to be able to have the flexibility, because you're going to make bad calls, mistakes, and in the very beginning, it's hard to understand what is going on and what makes a great project. And that's why I approach NFTs now as a day trader to a short-term swing trader, because I'm afraid of holding NFTs and them going to zero because the team can't deliver. I will go in and assume that these NFT projects are going to fail unless they prove me otherwise, and they also have a proven track record within the NFT space, and that I'm willing to take a chance and hold this, but still have enough liquid, still have enough ETH to make trades on the side. So these are my mistakes that I learned from BoringStone NFT collection, and mistakes that I learned from when I first got into the NFT space. So I'd love to hear what mistakes have you made and what else you've learned. And if you have any questions, just leave them below. Like the video if you like the video. And as always, take care, talk soon, and I'll see you in the next video.